There is some of Marek in you after all. Good.
Forget Marek. This is for Duncan.
So it is decided. Alistair will take his father's throne.
Wait, what? No! When did this get decided? Nobody's decided that. Have they?
So much for our plan to rule together. If Alistair would rather not have the throne, I am more than willing to take it.
I hardly think you're the appropriate person to mediate this, Honora. Warden, will you help us?
Certainly. Surely that's not a serious question. I have been the ruler of this nation in all but name for the last 5 years. I can lead for Eldon. Alistair can't. If you give him the crown, then you've only brought us a brief pause in the civil war. It will resume again at the first opportunity, and it won't end until a new dynasty holds power. And he'll need it. He can't hold the throne on his own, and every soul here knows it. Opportunists will forever be watching him, waiting to grab power. I have never had the smallest doubt. Warden, there's no doubt on this subject. Alistair would be a disastrous king. I can lead for Eldon. I have proven this.
As the arbiter of this dispute, what is your decision? Who will lead for Eldon?
Plans change. Nothing could convince me to marry my father's murderer. Thank you, Warden. You were wise not to disrupt Ferelden's governance any further in a time of such crisis. My first act as Queen must be to insist on receiving Alistair's oath before all the lands meet, to relinquish all claim to the throne for himself and his heirs.
Fine. You have my oath.
And now, lords and ladies of Ferelden, there is still a blight to defeat. So it's done. My father is dead. I never thought he would go so far. I never thought it would end like it did. Such a waste. It could have been. But what is done is done. My father had no illusions about the consequences of his actions, and neither do I. Arl Eamon has left for Redcliffe, and tells me that our armies have almost fully gathered there. I will be heading there myself. Bring your companions, and join us at Redcliffe Castle as soon as you are able. You have united for Eldon, Warden. Now we face the Blight.
Loghain is...
Listen to this! Can you see how disastrous a king he'd be? Putting his own selfish desires above the needs of his country? You can't seriously support him.
You're supporting Honora? You dare! After everything we've struggled to achieve! I did once. You're the one who convinced me differently, if you recall. You said I should stand up for myself. Well, I'm standing. Here I am. Make me king, not her. Being a good king is about more than the right breeding. And here I thought... Never mind. I guess you've made your decision. Here's my decision, then. I'm no longer a Grey Warden. I'm leaving.
I'm afraid it's not so simple as that, Alistair.
You already got what you wanted. Your murdering father gets a place amongst the Grey Wardens. What else could you want from me?
Your life, unfortunately. So long as you live, rebellions can be raised in your name. Our land cannot endure another civil war. I must call for your execution.
No, she's probably right. The job wasn't finished at Ostergal, right? And it should be, just to be on the safe side. I thought I meant something to you. I guess now's as good a time as any to find out that something just doesn't cut it. One day I hope you get what's coming to you. All of you!
Guards, take him away, please. And now, lords and ladies of Ferelden.
You are...
Absolutely not! Riordan, this man abandoned our brothers and then blamed us for the deed. He hunted us down like animals. He tortured you! How can we simply forget that?
You can't do this. My father may have been wrong, but he is still a hero to the people.
Honora... Hush. It's over.
Stop treating me like a child. This is serious.
Daughters never grow up, Honora. They remain 6 years old with pigtails and skinned knees forever.
Father.
Just make it quick, Warden. I can face the Maker knowing that Ferelden is in your hands.
So it is decided. Alistair will take his father's throne.
Wait, what? No! When did this get decided? Nobody's decided that. Have they?
So much for our plan to rule together. If Alistair would rather not have the throne, I am more than willing to take it.
I hardly think you're the appropriate person to mediate this, Honora. Warden, will you help us? As the arbiter of this dispute, what is your decision? Who will lead Ferelden?
We do! I believe this is what King Merrick wanted. To see his blood tied to my father's to begin a new line of Ferelden kings.
But I did swear an oath. What I mean is, I'm all for founding a new line of kings. But, well, there's the Blight.
What the king is trying to say, my lords and ladies, is that he will be taking the field with his fellow Grey Warden to do battle with the Archdemon.
Yes. That.
Until then, I shall stay in Denerim and rule in my husband's absence, as I did for Kaelin. But I trust Alistair shall reach a more heroic ending.
My fellow Grey Warden will, I hope, take Loghain's place as the leader of my armies. Shall we finish this thing together?
As you know, the Archdemon has been spotted. The Blight is real and threatens to consume us.
You made me king. After all this is over with, they're actually going to put me on the throne. I'm going to be the king. Oh, thanks. That should be interesting, shouldn't it? I suppose there are worse things that could happen to me other than becoming king and being hitched up to a beautiful woman. And Nora probably thinks she'll just be able to push me off to the side. But I'm not that person anymore. She won't be able to walk all over me. This was always a possibility. I always feared it, but maybe there's nothing to fear. I might actually make a good king. You never know. I tell you what, though. I'll make a far better king if I have the right people by my side to help me once I'm on the throne. People like you. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure I could do well enough if I tried, but I wouldn't be in this position if it weren't for you. So in a way, you owe me. What do you say? That's good enough for me. Arleman has left for...
And I'm off.
Hello again, Warden. It is good that you came to speak with me. I realize that my actions at Howe's estate may not have painted me in the best light. For that, I apologize and hope that we can start again. First, let me say that I knew your family. Eleanor, in particular, was dear to me, and what Howe did was unforgivable. How fitting he died at your hands. I will be blunt. I can see that your voice will be a strong one in days to come. It is to you that Eamon listens, and with good reason. My father must be stopped, but once that is done, Ferelden will need a ruler. I would welcome your support for my throne. That is exactly what I am proposing. When the time comes, you support my bid in the Landsmeet to remain on the throne. You will be seen as my father's enemy, yet you will be in support of his daughter. You will be seen as supporting the interests of Ferelden, as opposed to solely those of the Grey Wardens. In return, I add my voice to yours. Do you see? Together we can do what alone we cannot. Once I am queen, I will be in a position to grant you whatever you wish. And I shall. This is in addition to Highever being properly restored to you. That should go without saying, I trust. Alistair might promise you the same, I suppose. But I would ask which is better. The gratitude of a weak king, or of a strong queen. And even if it is not for you, think of what I could do for the Grey Wardens. Think of what I could do for your companions. I trust I have made my point. Tempting. You are of Cousland blood, it's true. Despite the fact that you are also a Grey Warden, it would be unprecedented, but a man like you could make a fine prince and consort. Is this what you are actually proposing? My hand for your support? And I am tired of ruling in a husband's name. If I marry again, it will not be to become a figurehead. If being a consort is not enough, then marry Alistair. Perhaps he will bend over more gracefully than I would. Of that I have no doubt, if only it didn't chafe so. Very well. It is too good an opportunity to pass up. Once I am coronated, I will take your hand as my consort. So, we have a deal, Warden. I trust you'll keep your end of the bargain. Now, I suppose, comes the task of dealing with my father. That will be no small feat, of course, but I am certain you already know this. I imagine you have much to do. Is there anything else you needed from me? No. And while I know your concern is hardly disinterested, still, thank you. You return. Is there something you wish to discuss? Ask me whatever you like. Do you want me to try my luck at fortune-telling? There was an old woman who read palms in the village of Gwarren when I was a child. She told me that I would have 10 children and be bald as a winter heath when I grew up. I can't say I put much faith in foretelling. What will happen depends much on you, Warden. But you certainly knew that already. Then I wish you luck, Warden.
I guess this ends soon. one way or another.
That it does, my friend. That it does. Darkspawn is an empty, soulless vessel, but a Grey Warden is not. The essence of the Archdemon is destroyed, and so is the Grey Warden.
Meaning, the Grey Warden who kills the Archdemon dies.
Yes. Without the Archdemon, the blight ends. It is the only way.
Oh, there you are.
It is. You'd be best to keep your guard up, while enjoying yourself, of course.
We can go to Danarum, but somehow I suspect that they're not going to let us just walk around. Only a suspicion, of course.
Most your age would spend much of their time preoccupied wondering when they might perish. Yet you already know.
Oh, that's funny. Such cruelty from such a beautiful woman. If you hear sobbing later, that's me crying myself to sleep.
Consider the possibility that Riordan may not be there to make the final blow as he plans. What then? Do you run away?
We don't know what will happen tomorrow. Riordan could end it. Or both of us could die before we even get close.
You do still intend to kill your target, do you not? Is your reputation not on the line?
I'm going to get some sleep now. We are done talking about this.
You love hair.
Big surprise. Do you care what anyone thinks? Not unless they can do something for you, I'm sure. No, I can see that. You don't care what anyone thinks. I'd be happy if I thought you cared about anyone other than yourself. With you, who needs Darkspawn?
I care.
Oh, I get it. This is the part where we're shocked to discover how you've never had a friend your entire life.
Only one. Alistair, if I could do something terrible to aid, must I?
I suppose we could use whatever help we can get.
Alistair. Weakness. You will regret this, and so will I. But perhaps that is how it must be. Alistair despises me. You know this. He rarely listens to reason, but he would listen to you. You, of all people, could influence him. Think about what I offer you. You will live, as will Alistair. You could slay the Archdemon and live as a hero, something no Grey Warden has ever done. In return, I conceive a child, one who will be born with the soul of an old god. After this is done, you allow me to walk away, and you do not follow. Ever. The child will be mine to raise as I wish. If you care for him as you seem to, you will convince him to. Consider what the alternative might be. If Riordan fails, do you think Alistair will hesitate? He will die the hero of Ferelden, Marik's son, and you will be forgotten. If you would rather, consider Zevran. What do you think he would advise if he knew the life of his beloved was at risk? I think you know. You have good reasons to tell him to save his own life if you will not take part in the ritual yourself. Consider carefully. A wise decision. I shall wait here then while you go and speak with Alistair. I urge you to be convincing.
I see you can't sleep either. I also saw Morrigan outside your room earlier, and the look she gave me. Ooh, that was icy even for her. Is something up? This is what I get for becoming king. Everyone always brings you the bad news. So what is it then? Rats running amok? Cheese supplies run low? I can take it. You mean with the archdemon, right? If you mean running away, I can't do that, but you don't mean that, do you? What is this about? Ha ha! Alright, that's pretty funny. Nice way to cut the tension. So, what's really up? Cute. This is payback, right, for all the jokes? But you're not joking. You're actually serious? Wow. Be killed by the archdemon or sleep with Morrigan. How does someone make that kind of choice? You're not actually asking me this, are you? What kind of ritual is this, anyway? What? I must be hearing things, but are you telling me to impregnate Morrigan in some kind of magical sex rite? This child, why would Morrigan want such a thing? Does she want an heir to the throne? Now, there's a conversation I'm looking forward to. Look, even if I was willing to entertain this idea, and I'm not saying I am, is this really what you want me to do? Are you sure? No, I can't. I can't do it. You can't ask me to do this, not like this. You know what? You're right. If this does what you say it will, I agree. I'll do it. Oh, where is she? Let's go and get this over with before I change my mind. Great. This isn't a dream after all.
What is it to be, then? Has a decision been reached?
Oh, you know, dinner would have been nice. Maybe a bit of wine. Or you could knock me out first.
Tempting. Still, I am glad to see that it has been done. Let us go somewhere more private, Alistair, and believe me when I say you will not hate this quite so much as you believe. Twould seem your talk is done.
Great. This isn't a dream after all.
What is it to be, then? Has a decision been reached? The only other way was with you. Unless you have changed your mind. You are both fools. I will not stand by and watch you waste this opportunity. Die if you feel it is worthwhile, or be overshadowed. I care not. Would that I could have helped you. That is your doing, however, and not mine. Fare you well, my friend. I do what I must now, and so shall you.